Hey everyone, with IBM Connect now just a few days away, less than a week actually, I thought it would be a good idea to give everyone a quick preview of one of the sessions I'll be doing. It's actually a jumpstart session called Extending Your Application Arsenal with OpenSocial. It's at 8 a.m. on Sunday, so you'll be wide and awake for that one. But I thought I'd give everyone a nice preview of what we'll be doing, what we'll be showing at Connect, and some of the things we've been working on. So, as you know, maybe some of you know if you follow me on Twitter or whatnot, I've been working on a tool for OpenSocial developers called the OpenSocial Explorer. One of the problems with building OpenSocial gadgets for a while now has been an environment to actually do some development and testing, and a place to go and learn about OpenSocial gadgets. So for the OpenSocial Foundation, I've built this tool called the OpenSocial Explorer. It's open source, it's up on GitHub. It's a J2E based application, so you can take the WAR file, download the WAR file, and put it on a Tomcat server or Jetty server, start it up. And what you get to do is to go and learn more about OpenSocial gadgets. So this tool consists of a number of sample gadgets that demonstrate various features of the OpenSocial specification, and it allows you to view the source code for the gadget, so you can see, for example, the gadget XML, the HTML, the JavaScript, and the CSS, and it will give you a preview of what the gadget looks like when it's going to render. With the tool, you can not only learn about the different features, but you can also manipulate the code a little bit. So for example, this gadget here, this preferences gadget, is just demonstrating how to use user preferences inside your gadgets. And I can see that there's this preference here that allows people to pick different colors. And if I go down to the gadget here and select preferences in the toolbar, I can see the list of colors here. I can pick a color, click save, and it re-renders the gadget with that color. So I can see exactly how preferences are then displayed within the container and how I can manipulate them and what the gadget will look like once I do manipulate the preferences. So say I want to add a new color to this gadget and see what that does. So I notice that yellow is not here. I can add that myself right here by going in the editor and editing the code. And then I just need to go and click render again, or re-render the gadget with the new preferences. I can head down here to the gadget toolbar, click preferences, and we now see that yellow is now added here to the list of preferences, so I can click save, and we can see that the text is now yellow. So this is a very quick sample. There's a number of different options here for gadgets that you can test with and learn more about, and you can take the source code and start building your own gadgets from this tool. One of the other things you can do, if I just log in real quickly here, I'm going to pick Google, and once I log in, I see that I have two buttons now here at the top. The first button, New Spec, allows me to create a new gadget XML. So I can say, just fill this out, this quick form here. And once I click create, I get a new gadget here, and it kind of stubs everything out for me. So I can start building my own gadget right from here. And as you can see, I can edit this stuff and click render, just like I do with all the samples, and it changes the gadget. So it kind of stubs out the gadget XML, gives you an HTML file, a JavaScript file, and a CSS file. It allows you to then keep on building out your gadget from here. The other thing that's here is the services button. This allows you to configure OAuth services. So if I need to use OAuth in my gadget, you're going to need to add the OAuth service you're going to use here to the OpenSocial Explorer, so it knows the information to use. You can use add OAuth 1 and OAuth 2, and add them here. You can see I already have one for connections here, and it will add the services and allow you to then use them within your gadget. Now, the one problem with the OpenSocial Explorer is there's not really much of a persistence layer behind it. So once I refresh this page here, for example, we'll see that the gadget I had added is gone, and the preference changes I had made are also gone. And that's just because we haven't gotten to the persistence layer yet. We've been working on a lot of the functionality and features, but there is no persistence layer. So, with that in mind, and with the fact that we've seen this tool and we now understand how preference or how gadgets work in general from an OpenSocial perspective. If you're an IBM partner or an IBM developer and you want to build gadgets, there's a little bit more, right? You may want to understand how to use gadgets with connections, or you may want to know how to use gadgets with Smart Cloud, for example. And the other thing is that there's already a tool that does the same thing for the IBM Social Business APIs, right? It's called the IBM Social Business Toolkit Playground. And this playground has a bunch of examples for JavaScript APIs, Java APIs, XPages, and whatnot, and all our REST APIs as well. So it makes a lot of sense to include something like this something like the OpenSocial Explorer into the playground. So that's exactly what we've done. We've taken this code, a lot of the code, reused it from the OpenSocial Explorer, and integrated it into the IBM Social Business Toolkit Playground. So this has been done over the past few months. The code is out there on GitHub under the IBM Social Business Toolkit SDK project. Is not yet in a release that's been published to OpenNTF, but that will happen very soon. So in order to play with the code, you need to clone the Git repo and build it, and then take the jars from that build and deploy it to your Domino server along with the NSF. But fairly soon, hopefully before Connect, we'll have a release that includes all the code, and you'll just have to download it from OpenNTF, and you can drop it on your Domino server. It'll also be available soon on Greenhouse. We're in the process of getting that up there, doing some testing in the Greenhouse staging environment. So hopefully, again, before Connect, we'll have this up on Greenhouse for everyone to play around with too. So you don't even have to download the code or do anything like that. You can just go to Greenhouse. So the playground looks pretty much the same. You can see here that we have all the normal tabs, but we have this new link here called OpenSocial Gadgets. So when I click on this here, it brings me to a UI that looks just like the other ones, but for OpenSocial Gadgets. Now, right now, I don't have any gadgets in my playground because there's some features that I want to demo to you before we start testing out the gadgets. So if you're in this situation where you don't have any gadgets in your playground, or you want to refresh the gadgets that are in your playground, we have the ability to import gadgets. So just like you can import JavaScript snippets or Java snippets or XPage snippets, you can import OpenSocial gadgets. So when I go here, I can actually import the gadgets, same gadgets that I had in the OpenSocial Explorer, right into the playground. And this link to this to where the gadgets are in the OpenSocial Explorer is documented on the GitHub wiki. And we also have a couple gadgets in the SDK source code project on GitHub, so we have a import source from there too. Once I've added my sources, all I have to do is click import from source, and you can see that the playground will start reading the gadgets from GitHub and importing them into the playground. So this will only take a few minutes, probably less than a minute, depending on how many gadgets there are. It's very short and easy and painless. Okay, now that we have the 11 gadgets from the OpenSocial Explorer imported into the playground, I also want to import the ones from the SDK. So I'll click import from source there. And there's only a couple in the SDK right now, and that will grow over time, but right now we only have a couple just to start with. Okay, once that's done, I now have all my gadgets imported, but before I go back to the OpenSocial tab, I just want to take a quick peek at runtime environments and show you what's changed there as well to support OpenSocial. So I have a single runtime environment in my playground, and if I head down to the IBM Connections platform here, we'll see that there's a couple of things here that have been added specifically for OpenSocial. So there's an OpenSocial OAuth2 service name, OpenSocial Gadget OAuth2 consumer key and OpenSocial Gadget OAuth2 consumer secret. So this is used for gadgets that are going to be using OAuth2 for talking to connections. The service name can be left blank as long as you don't change the default that's in the gadget already. The service name needs to match what's in the OpenSocial gadget. But if you don't change the service name that's in the gadget, then we will use that by default, and you don't have to specify anything here. The consumer key and consumer secret is what you get from the Connections OAuth2 provider. The reason why we have to generate a separate OAuth2 consumer key and secret for gadgets rather than reuse the ones that are already here is because there's a separate callback URL for OpenSocial gadgets, and because of the way the OAuth2 provider works on connections, you need to have a separate key for each callback URL. Because it does some verification of the callback URL that's sent across and make sure that it's associated with the key and secret that's also sent across. So to do that, you need to have a separate OAuth2 key and secret. For Smart Cloud, the story is a little bit different. We only support OAuth1 from gadgets with Smart Cloud, and there we don't reuse. The OAuth1 provider on Smart Clouds allows you to does not verify the OAuth1 callback URL, so we can reuse the OAuth1 consumer key and secret here, so you don't see anything special as far as separate OAuth keys for gadgets. Same is true for Dropbox. We can reuse the key and secret here from Dropbox. For Google, there's only the OpenSocial gadgets use this platform, so you can see that there's only a key and secret for OpenSocial gadgets. That may change over time, but right now there's only keys and secrets for gadgets here. Okay, now that we've went over what the environment looks like, let's go back to the OpenSocial gadgets link here, and we can see we have all our gadgets. Now, under the standard gadgets here folder, there's all the gadgets from the OpenSocial Explorer. So that preferences gadget that we were looking at in the OpenSocial Explorer, it will look exactly the same here in the Playground. The tabs and whatnot, the way they're arranged and displayed, looks slightly different. The gadget XML is displayed up top, and then you have your HTML and JavaScript and whatnot on the bottom. But I can do similar things here. I can go to the gadget toolbar, I can click preferences, I can change colors and save them and whatnot. There's samples here. You can see that we imported from the SDK that show you how to use gadgets for Smart Cloud and connections. There's only 2 right now, but you know, you get the picture. We'll add more over time. But you can click, for example, on this Activity Streams gadget. Here's the gadget XML up here. The HTML is down here. Just raise this up a little bit. JavaScript, all the JavaScript you need here. But this gadget basically posts an entry to the connections activity stream. So in order to do that, we use OAuth2. So I can click here to begin the OAuth dance. I've already logged in, so I'll just click Grant Access. And now I can just tell you what I'm doing. I am doing a preview for Connect. And click Post. And you can see that was successful. I'll just head out to my connections activity stream here. And you can see here's the post I just made a second ago from the Playground. So, for example, if you needed to know how to post an entry to the activity stream from an OpenSocial gadget, this sample will get you going. It shows you exactly what to do, all the code you need to do it, done, and you're good to go. Same with Smart Cloud. If you wanted to know how to use Smart Cloud from a gadget, you can check out this sample. Again, this sample uses OAuth 1.0a, and it just fetches the current user's picture and name and title from Smart Cloud, from their profile. So fairly simple. Now the advantage here with the Playground comes in with the environments. So if you had multiple environments, you had a production environment and a development environment, for example, you can switch environments and switch which servers and whatnot you're pointing to, and that will affect the gadgets and the OAuth services and everything that you've defined in those environments, just like it does with the other snippets. The other thing is that because we're in the next page here, we have the NSF behind us, and all the changes that you make are persisted. Again, just like the other snippets, and unlike the OpenSocial Explorer. So, for example, if I wanted to create my own smart cloud gadget, I can copy this gadget XML, click new gadget, paste it in here. Let me just give some HTML here and say that this is a test. I'll click run just to make sure that it works. Okay, cool. Let me save this off before I lose it so that I can say category is my gadget, and the name is my smart cloud gadget. And click save. And obviously this is now a new folder is created. Here's my gadget, nice and persisted. If I refresh the page, or if I shut down the server, restart the server, it's all here, right? So that's the benefit that we now have with the Playground, with the functionality from the OpenSocial Explorer integrated into it. Now, I'm sure if you're an XPages developer and you're watching this video, you're saying, okay, Ryan, you've shown me that you can do all this stuff, but obviously you're rendering gadgets inside of NextPage, and how can I do that myself? Well, as I wrote this code and developed the functionality in the Playground, I abstracted out how we are rendering gadgets inside the Playground so that essentially any application on the Domino's server can do this. I will say that the code is very much, let's call it in an alpha state. It's very much new and probably going to evolve over time. The APIs and interfaces that are used are nowhere near complete or finalized. There's a lot of things that need to be done still, but as always with open source code, it's good to get it out there, get feedback, get preview for other people, allow other people to give feedback on it, and tell us what direction they want to take it, or if they find it interesting at all. So, as a simple example, I built another separate XPage application, or XPage, that just uses the same plugins from the Social Business Toolkit that are used inside the Playground, and it's in a different XPage. You can see here I have everything in this blue box here is a gadget. Everything outside of that is just a normal XPage. So it's very simple to take advantage of. It took me only a few lines of code to write this, but again, it's a very simple example as well. But this is one of the things that we'll be talking about a little bit more in my session, and we'll talk a lot more about the Playground in our session at Connect. So I highly suggest you stop by again on Sunday at 8 a.m. and listen to me and my partner Yunzi talk more about OpenSocial and how you can take advantage of all the cool features there. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you then. Bye.